And welcome back, everybody, to the Podcaster Nation. That's right. I said welcome back because I know you were just listening to our stuff and you were having such a good time and you loved it so much that you came back for more. Folks, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant because we have a lot more for you. Now, how do we have so much for you? Because this is the podcast that's about podcasters, it's for podcasters, and it's done by podcasters. Our guest today, as a matter of fact, is a podcaster. You guessed it. You really are brilliant. Folks, this is the place where we all come together to raise each other up, and this is the place where the rising tide truly raises all ships. Let's get sailing and bring in our guest today. The vibe from this guy is amazing. He's been smiling since the moment he came on screen. It's absolutely fantastic. And I tell you what, you might just want to pay attention to what he has to say. He's talking about money. So, all right, let's get rolling. He's the author of the book Seven Basic Wealth Strategies. He's the host of the podcast Elevate Your Wealth. Please welcome Victor Idoko. Victor, how you doing, brother?
I am doing good, Rory. Thanks for having me and good work with all your hard work with the podcast.
Thank you, sir. Hey, I didn't even check, but did I get the name right? I was hoping.
Yes, you
All right,
did. You
perfect.
got it right.
Perfect, perfect. All right, you have, there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot for us to talk about, but before we get rolling, why don't you tell our listeners who is Victor? What are you about and how'd you end up doing what you do, man?
Yeah. I'll start from the very top. So I was born in Nigeria. My mom was a teacher, dad was a soldier, so you can imagine the house was discipline and sequence. And you get this done, you're fine. You don't do that, you're definitely in trouble. So it was really exciting seeing all that. I think, and being the middle child as well. What happened was usually my mom, if we did something wrong as a group of kids, she would start with the older one. So it's good because then by the time she got to me, I was already crying, and then there was nothing else to do, and she was like, "Yep, everyone has learned your lesson. Let's keep going." That was my upbringing. Look, mom was amazing. She taught me lots of things. And, even back then, she was very disciplined as to how she taught us about money. So I think that was my very first lessons about money, which was amazing. And went to boarding school. I was born in Nigeria. In Nigeria, when you go to boarding school, it's not because you're rich, because most people think that, oh, if you're going to boarding school, you're rich. It's like, no, no. Kids are shipped off to boarding school so the parents can have somewhat of a life,
Oh,
which is good. Yeah, so boarding school for 6 years, and then I moved to Australia. So I've been in Australia for the last 17 years now, which has been amazing. When I first came to Australia, it was I came to study, and I wanted to study the shortest thing ever, and I chose finance because I was like, no, I'm not spending 6 years to study medicine to be a doctor. I'm not studying 4 or 5 years to be an engineer. I'm gonna do 3 years and get my finance degree, and I'm out. 17 years later, I was still studying, not because I failed units, but the practicality with finance really intrigued me. I was like, okay, yeah, you could learn a lot more. You can help people a lot more, and you can just do a lot more once you keep learning. So this is the year that I've officially said I'm not gonna do any formal type of education again. I've had enough. But yeah, it's been amazing. Then about 10 years ago, I started giving financial advice. All right, I joined the wealth management financial advice industry, and I've been running my own business now for just about 5 years. And the podcast that I run, we started that about a year ago now. Actually, yeah, August. We're in August now. August is yeah, a year ago, which we started. We started recording, and I think our first episodes did come out September, October. So we're almost clocking a year of being out there. And um, my main job is helping people manage their money, helping people build wealth, helping business owners build wealth around the business or inside the business. So that's what we mainly do. And I actually love podcasting. I think it's a great way for people to, one, show value to your potential clients and their current clients as well, because I have my current clients and potential clients watching my podcast. Okay. Because the thing with clients relationship, or the thing with when you see a client or when I see a client, I give them the value they need. Okay. Because I can't pour the whole 17 years of what I've learned on them. It's just too much. So when they go to the podcast, they then learn other things that we may do for them down the track, or we may do for them, or we don't even have to do for them, and then they understand why. So that's a bit of my journey. So yeah, now look, Australia's second home, so going to be here for I think the rest of my life. But Nigeria's still definitely home as well because my family's still there. So yeah, that's about me.
Wow. Wow. Okay. It seems like you really enjoy finance. I mean, just listening to you talk about it.
Yeah, maybe I enjoyed it a little bit too much, but but yeah, look, I definitely love it. I think the thing about finance is very practical as well. Like, even just learning about economics and how interest rates are set and how the Federal Reserve or central banks in the world choose what interest rates like that. That is good because obviously that happens every month across the world. So it's just an interesting thing for me, and I can see the practicalities and I can see why decisions are made. And sometimes people don't understand that because they don't understand how everything just integrates and fits together. So it's just good being able to explain all that to them. And yeah, yeah, I do like finance.
Nice. Now, as a financial advisor, do you take I've talked to several, and some of the people who call themselves financial advisors take the track of they're going to try and teach the people what they know.
Mm,
And some people are like, hey, you don't need to know what I know. That's why you come to me. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what you should do. And do you
yeah.
subscribe to either belief or are you somewhere in between?
I subscribe to what my client wants. Some people want to learn. It's like, yep, that's fine. We'll teach you as much as you want to learn because if you want to learn it, there would be that burning desire, even if we do it for you.
Hmm.
And we need to satisfy that desire so you are a happy client. Okay. So definitely getting to a point where I teach them. And I said the podcast is actually a good way to then say, hey, look, lots of materials that you can learn and you can watch there. So go watch it. And I might send something specific to them that you've requested, which is good. And some clients are like, yep, I don't want to know, just get it done. And we'll do that as well. So I think I'm flexible as to what the clients' needs, to be honest, because I can understand why some people would want to know because, when you're looking at how people learn or how people are generally, some people want to know the detail, even though they're not going to use the detail. Other people
Yeah.
don't want to know the detail. So you have to satisfy both. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. That was a great answer, by the way. I'm whatever my customer needs me to be. That's a perfect answer right there. I love it. The I want to get to the podcast, of course, but I'm curious
Yeah.
about the book, Seven Basic Wealth Strategies. This is your book. You wrote this. Did you come up with the seven strategies, and what can you tell us about that?
Okay, yeah. So, I look. I didn't come up with them. Like, it's not like they were not existent before, but
Okay.
I'll definitely say I'm the first to put all seven together and say these are the seven basic things you need because I think those are the seven basic things that people need to sort out and just have the basic knowledge on and do something about to really get ahead. And what I found as well is some mini books just talk about one or two of them. They don't really talk about all seven. It's just all seven are needed for you to have a decent wealth life or financial life, to be honest. So
Nice.
that's how it came about.
Okay. What made you want to write a book? I mean, was it something you always wanted to do, or was it just a great way to get the information out? What clicked in your head and say, I'm going to go write a book and put this stuff in there?
Yeah, yeah. So I've read lots of finance books. I read a lot as well. So I've read lots of finance book, and they never covered all seven. And each time I read a good finance, I'm like, that's great, bot. That's great, bot. And then it actually just clicked to me that, well, the best people to write financial books or the best people to write books are experts in that field. Because some finance books are written by stockbrokers, like they're expert as stockbrokers, but they're not expert in the whole financial planning system. So I just felt financial planners should write a lot more. And I was like, wow, I'm gonna start that. So that's why I then decided to write a book because look, the example I always give people is like, well, if you go see uh, uh, um, a neurosurgeon and you also have heart issues, you will also want to go see. a heart surgeon and not get your advice from your neurosurgeon, even though you're very skilled and trained as a neurosurgeon. But it's like, well, get the specific information from the right people. And we financial planners are the only people that touch on everything. Your stockbrokers or the fund managers is just about building wealth. But for example, we take into account the person's personality, their risk profile, what they want to achieve in life, all those things, those are things we do. So I felt that was a good way to put everything together and put it out there.
Excellent. Okay. You find that kind of gives you credibility. Has it helped establish you as an authority in the space? You know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think I was speaking to client the other day, and they were asking me about the book as well. I was like, I feel that's actually one of my proudest moments. Like we haven't made that much from the book compared to the business and everything, but it's like, well, I just felt so proud about writing the book. So yeah, yes, it definitely has given lots of credibility, authority in that field. But hand on heart, I when the book was done and everything, and obviously you read it a few times to ensure things are done. And I was like, I wish I actually had something like this 10 years ago. Life would have been totally different.
Really? How
Even
so?
though, yeah. Well, also because I've accumulated lots of knowledge and expertise over 10 years.
Ah, okay.
So if I got this seven basic things 10 years ago, I would have supercharged my own personal finances because there were things that I did for my finances and for my clients 5 years ago that I didn't do 10 years ago, So, but the book has those basic things and just the way people should think about things as well. So, yeah, hand on heart, I was like, I wish I picked this book 10 years ago. Life would have been different.
Nice. All right. So you've started your own business. You're on your own doing this. You love what you're doing, clearly. You got the book, right? So of course, you got to have a podcast. What made you say, "Hey, I want to have a podcast because I love this medium and I want to go talk to people."
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, I just love speaking to people, and I, the thing with the podcast, and I'll just compare that with the book. The thing with the podcast that is there that the book doesn't have is my personality. People just see how I act, understand they
Mm,
hear my voice, they understand my demeanors and all that, which cannot be translated in the book. So all of a sudden, the podcast is a tool that we can use for several things. One, ensure new clients understand a bit about me and
mhm.
they're comfortable with the way I speak. Like some people may not be comfortable with the way I give advice, and this is the way I talk, right? Some people may not be comfortable about it, and it's just the way it is. Like everyone is wired a certain way. So that's one. The podcast gives them the visual, the audio, everything in the one. So it's actually a great way. And now for my clients as well, the podcast is a one to many. So I can explain the same thing to 100 people at the same time. So hence why the idea about the podcast. Heard about it in a financial planning conference that I went to, and I kind of broke that down. And from there, after the conference, I was like, yep, I'm going to come back. The conference was in June last year. And then after I was like, yep, starting a podcast. So made the plan and everything and started shooting in August. So that was
Excellent.
definitely the the well I say tipper, the thing that made me then do the podcast. So
Nice. Nice. Now your podcast, like you said, it's been going out for about a year, give or take. And do you come out weekly?
no, so we used to come out weekly.
Okay.
I then said that I was taking lots of time away from my main job. So I was like, no, Victor, this shouldn't be your main job. This is not what you want to do.
Right.
But as a main job. So now it comes out fortnightly.
Hmm.
We will change that to actually monthly as well. And the one tip out there for podcasters as to what I've learned is you really need to have niches that you really focus on. I think our podcast was a little bit broad because the three pillars to the business, which we help people with: wealth, health, relationships. So I'm the wealth specialist. I send people off that want relationship guidance or health guidance to other professionals. So the podcast was that broad, and I think with that broad, you don't grow as fast as you should if you had niche down.
Hmm.
So we're actually going to niche down where every year we focus on a certain niche. So next year we already have a plan as to what we're going to do. Because I said it's not my main job, so we can't just roll that out straight away. And so we'll have a niche for that year, and that'll be a series of episodes for that particular niche, and then do the same. over and over again. So
Interesting. Okay. Excellent. So it's moving to a monthly product, is what you're
correct.
saying. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, that'll give you more time to put into the podcast, of course, but then also to, actually do your business. So
Yeah, exactly.
that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. In your podcast, obviously, is educational. You've mentioned that a couple times. It also gives you credibility, like the book does. Helps establish you in the space as, an expert, which is good. Um, you've got it helps your branding because it can get you, your personality out there. Do you use it all at all for sales or for marketing? I'm just curious in terms of how you use it for your business.
Yeah, so we use it as a series of informational sessions for clients, so that's how we use it for the business, or rather for clients. So clients will get certain episodes based on what stage they are at in the business, sorry, in our process. So that's one thing. Yes, we cut out a few parts and then use that for marketing as well.
Hmm.
So it kind of serves multiple purposes. Once we've done done an episode, because once you do an episode, you can cut out certain parts, use that as marketing, and use that for clients. So it serves multiple purposes, which is very good and very helpful.
Nice. And so you do interview episodes, right?
Yeah, so I do usually how I run mine is because I go into studios as you would have seen, it's professionally done and everything else. So we'll shoot 3 episodes back to back to back, and two of them we usually have guests. One of them will be solo.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, you got a definite plan on how you do that. How do you decide who comes on as a guest?
Yeah. So how we do that is, one, there needs to be someone I've worked with, so a business
Okay.
partner, okay,
Yeah.
or they need to be a client, one of the two.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So generally just helps filter through who we get on, and what they can, what we then talk about. And look, I think from getting clients on, it's very good from a marketing piece as well. So people do see what our clients are saying and how we're helping them. But at the same time, some of our clients are business owners as well, so the business owners can talk about their businesses.
I love that for several reasons. Like you said, it's a client, so it's a built-in testimonial,
Mm,
which is
mm,
beautiful. But then if everyone that's coming on is someone that you've networked with or someone who's a client, then everybody involved in the podcast has a stake in the podcast.
yeah,
They're not just coming by to tell their story and then leave and go down the road to the next podcast, right?
yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
100%. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. You're pretty sharp. You got a lot of different things going on over here. I mean, every time I ask you another question, there's like another piece of the puzzle that's falling in, and I'm like, all right, I think I get
One of
this.
my I think business partners client, I can't remember who I was speaking to yesterday, told me I'm not just a pretty face. I was like, thank you, thank you.
I'm not just a pretty face. All right, man. I love that. I never get accused of that. I don't know why. I just all right, man. That's beautiful. Okay, now, given how you use the podcast, which is incredibly inventive and really does seem to fit a cohesive business plan, do you do anything to promote the podcast itself, or is it just, part of the business and you're promoting the business itself, as you go?
Yeah, so what we've done so far as part of the business, we haven't done anything to promote the podcast. I think one of the things I truly believe is naturally it will grow organically, and it will be what it's meant to be. However, the main purpose now is to help prospects and new clients, and put out what we do out there. So I should probably look into that next.
Hey, it doesn't hurt, right? But
Yeah.
do you do any social media work to promote your business? I mean, it's a different kind of a business. I mean, I know it's very personal, to one-on-one
Yeah,
relationships. So I'm not sure, wasn't sure how that worked.
yeah, so we do lots of social. So I have a team member who helps with the social media and all that. So it just frees up time for myself to then focus on other things. So they help with that. We do regular posts, informative posts generally, or maybe if something exciting has happened. Like recently, I just completed my CFP, so that went out as a post across all several platforms. So look on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So we'll just post out there. So we definitely do lots of social media. And the reason for that as well is with what we do, many people still don't understand in detail what we do. Okay, even some clients, we know what they know what we've done for them, but then it's hard to say, okay, well, if there's someone else in a different life stage, what can we do for them? So that's where the socials and everything really helps as well.
Nice. All right. I'm glad that you brought that up because there was a couple of questions. A couple of them came from your bio, and then I had a couple that I wanted to kind of throw at you. So you ready for this? You strapped in?
Yeah,
All right. All
I'm
right. Here we
ready.
go.
I'm
Here comes the
ready.
tough part of the interview. All right. You made a mention something about why smart people stay broke.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I really want to ask about this.
Mm.
Why do smart people stay broke? Go ahead and give it to me.
Yeah. So smart people stay broke most of the time because you're very smart in their niche, okay? Or they're very good at what they do, and they haven't taken the time to learn how to manage and build wealth. Because building wealth and managing money is a skill in itself. So you can have all the knowledge, and if you don't take that time to build wealth or learn the skills around that, you're still going to be broke. Okay? Because the thing with building wealth, the two key aspects, there's the attitudes and then there's the knowledge. So a smart person might not have the right attitudes to building wealth. Okay. And going back to how I got my attitudes and how I kind of pass that on and ensure my clients are building the right attitudes as well is that I just got the right attitudes because my mom taught me the right attitudes. So from a young age, I just had the right attitudes. So that had nothing to do with my, I'll say IQ or how smart I am. It's just the right attitude. It's the same thing with smart people. It's like, well, you may be smart and great at everything else, but if you don't have the right attitudes to build wealth, it's not going to work. It's just too hard. And if you don't have the right knowledge on top of that, because being smart in other things doesn't mean you're smart in wealth management or money management. So that's why most
Nice.
people that are so smart struggle to just build wealth.
I'm curious, and maybe
And
you, oh, go ahead.
sorry, I was going to say, and building wealth is different from making money because smart people most of the time can make money
Mhm.
but they end up not building wealth. That's why they run out of money or they have nothing to show for after having amazing careers. You haven't built wealth.
Okay. So can you give me a small example of the difference between those two things?
Okay, so making money is money comes in. You know how to make money come in.
Like from your job
Building
is what you're
wealth,
talking about.
sorry?
Like from your job is what you're talking about. Like you go to
Yeah,
work,
from
you
from
bring
a
home a
job.
paycheck.
Yeah. You bring up money. You're very good salesperson. You're never out of a job. You've always been paid good money. You're making money. Okay. Now building wealth is okay. When you've made that money, how do you manage that? How do you make that um build for you at the background? How do you
Uh-huh.
invest that? How do you structure that? Okay. And that's when you build wealth. And sometimes the attitudes that lead you to build wealth will help you maintain and protect that wealth. Okay.
Okay.
Because, I think the classic examples we see sometimes are sports stars, right? Sports stars know how to make money. Most of them, you're making good money, but
Yeah.
then they run out of money later on. So making money is different, definitely different from building wealth. And you need to be very intentional with building wealth and understanding how that works.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. All right. Gotcha. Gotcha. You also said something about if someone is just starting, if they haven't built wealth yet, but they want to and they want to have the right attitude and they're just starting, what is the first step?
Yeah, so I'll say the first step is definitely if they have the right attitudes already, is improving the knowledge you have and probably getting someone to guide and lead you in the right way.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's
So because
education is
once
the
you
first step.
education would definitely be the first step, because education really gets you understanding why certain things work the way they are. And if you're in the Western world as well, what you would notice there's so many rules and there's so many um, regulations around money. So if you don't know how to save taxes, if you don't know how to build um, wealth that gives you better returns, you're going to miss out on a lot.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
then that education and strategy comes in.
All right. So that's it. All right. Is it ever too late to start?
It is. Never too late to start. Okay, because if you start, it's still better than doing nothing. Obviously, the earlier you start, the better. But it's never too late. It's never too late as long as you. Because we still give advice to people that are going into aged care facilities because there's still lots of structuring and things they can do. And yes, then it's more about what to build and how they can pass it on or how they can manage all that. But still, there's still lots of things we do, and those are people in their look 80s, 90s still, so really late stages of life. So we still help them. Yeah. So and I know many people thinking it's too late. They're probably in their what 50s, 60s, and they're like, oh, it's too late, not going to do anything. It's like, no, it's actually not too late. You can still do lots of things to put you ahead.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. Me and all the other old guys who listen to this, we're all paying attention now. So,
That's good.
all right, I love it. Let me go back to the podcast for a minute. The
Yeah.
Do you do your own production, editing, that sort of thing, or do you have a team, or do you farm that out?
Yeah, so I have a team that does lots of the editing, and yeah, we definitely just farm. We have a member in-house that deals with social media, so she doesn't do the editing and all that, but she'll help once we've gotten the edits and everything done. And then we just outsource that. So it's not a main business for us. So we should be focusing on the main business. And I think sometimes this is what people can get a little bit wrong, especially if I'm sitting down with business owners and I'm trying to strategize best ways to do things. Like, well, is it your main business or not? Are you going to monetize it or not? Having it as a client, as a marketing tool doesn't mean you need to make it your own businesses. Where is your time best spent? And for me and my team is definitely not on the editing and getting that done. Our time is spent helping clients build wealth, manage wealth, protect wealth, create more wealth.
Excellent. Okay. No, so you farm that out. That makes sense. Absolutely makes
Mm.
sense. All right. Wonderful. Do you or your team use any sort of AI that you're aware of in terms of, I don't know, show notes or put the podcast together or come up with ideas?
Yeah, so I think the social media lady, she does use lots of ChatGPT. Um, in the team, sometimes we use CapCut for the smaller ones that we would then um, want to cut out and upload or tweak a bit. So she'll do that. So I know about CapCut, I know about ChatGPT. I don't know too much about it because I always tell them that's team, you go, do you? I just go sit down in front of people and give us a good outcome. So yeah, can't really say, but as I said, for some people, for lots of your listeners out there who are people thinking about podcasting but run a business and don't have time, it's like, well, you can outsource lots of it, to then ensure you're focusing on your business, and that was my approach because if I had to do that, I wouldn't I wouldn't do podcast.
Nice. All right. Without using names now, okay, because we want to keep everybody anonymous. Um, best best podcast guest or worst podcast guest, and what were they
Okay.
like? How'd it go?
Uh, I think my best podcast guest has been one of my business partners that we work together closely with. And the reason for that is you can tell that there's chemistry and we just work well together. So even jumping on a podcast and just discussing about work, there's high energy, lots of cohesion. Like they kind of know what I'm gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. Is just a good vibe. So I'll say personality match was really good. Honestly, I haven't had any bad podcasts to be honest. I'm not even trying to. I'm not trying. I'm not trying to make everyone feel feel good. But no, I haven't. And as you said, as I said, sorry before, these are clients and these are business partners. So there wouldn't be clients and there wouldn't be business partners if we don't already work together because we are a little bit selective as to who we work with, both with clients and then with business partners. And the reason for that as well is, in the past, when we're trying to work with everyone, we just noticed that some people didn't see value no matter what we did.
Right.
Think about going above and beyond for some people and they still don't get it. They still don't see. And generally you can feel that because when you're sourcing out clients or when you're trying to work with people. So we'll definitely pick it because if we sense it's not going to be a good outcome for neither us or them, it's like, well, let's not get in bed together.
Right.
Let's not
Right, right,
do it.
right.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that question. I was, wondering, and then I went, "Oh, wait a minute! All of his guests are are people he works with, or people that he's done work for. So he's not going to tell. He's not going to call anybody out for being the worst person. But I got you. I got you.
No, well, it was going to be anonymous, so the person wouldn't know. But hand on heart, I haven't had a terrible guest, and I haven't had an episode of, should we post that or not? It's always been,
Right.
yeah, because everyone always offers some value to people,
Nice.
you know. So
Nice. Well, and with the way you do it, it's very unique to do your podcast that way, which is awesome for you. You probably don't need like a pre-interview form or a questionnaire or anything there in either for your podcast if you already know the folks coming on.
generally, we send them just guidance as to what kind of questions to expect. Look, um, generally the people who read the questions are the clients, the business partners that they kind of just know we're going to talk about business and stuff. So they're like, like just talk when we get there.
Right.
So, but some clients who, not because not everyone is used to podcast environment. I'm very comfortable with it now because obviously I've been doing this for, but some people who have never been on, they're like, oh, what happens? Is it live? Are we going to stop? Are we going to pause? Like all those questions. And so you need to guide them with, hey, we're going to ask a few questions, but we can go off topic because with some clients as well, we've planned like 10 questions, but we start on the one or two questions and it just goes and it just flows and we don't ask the other eight. Okay. So all those things are kind of what happens practically.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely. The best laid plans sometimes just go right out the window when you're
Yeah.
interviewing. So that is a real thing. The let me go ahead and throw in my corny question for you now.
There we go. Let's do
I know you've been waiting for this, right? No,
it.
it's really really simple. What is it about doing your podcast that you love the most, and what is it about doing your podcast that you just absolutely hate the most?
Yeah. Okay. I love the interaction, with the guests, with the people. Um, I don't like the planning that goes into the solo podcasts. When I
Okay,
say
all right.
planning, it's like, well, if you're doing a solo podcast, anyone that does this will know that it's hard talking to a camera for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Like
for
it's just
sure.
hard, because with a conversation, I can pick up the way you're talking, and if you don't understand my question, I'll explain better. Like, but when you're doing a solo, it's like, well, if you're not planned properly, you're gonna be like, what do I talk about next? So I hate the planning that goes into that. It takes lots of time.
Nice.
Yeah, and because you want to make it valuable, right? You want to make it flow. You want to make sure people understand. You want to make sure people get value from it. If not, why do it in the first place? You want to ensure that, okay, if there's a prospect, they then see the value of whatever you're explaining and not just, you know, um, not just have a screen there which they're like, oh, this is boring. So the planning definitely takes the way because I can't outsource the planning. I can't really outsource that. So
All right.
it's the time that goes into that one. Yeah.
Nice. Do you script out your podcast episodes?
When you say script out, sorry, what do you mean by that?
Like write them out and then, edit them and then read them, as an episode, or is it, more of an
Uh
outline that you
some
follow?
some of them we script out, but what I've noticed, the scripted ones are not as engaging as the ones that I've planned. I know the questions, I kind of know the script and just dot points there. So,
Nice.
but yeah, when we have to script some, we just have to script some. So,
Good deal. Good deal.
but I guess my tip for the viewers out there and podcasters is try learn it. You just come across better. People kind of sense when it's scripted, especially those that watch and know lots of podcasts. They can just sense when it's scripted, and I guess maybe get disengaged.
Yeah, for sure. No, I've heard that before. All right. So, in terms of doing your podcast, when you started doing it, did you just sort of use whatever you had hanging around to get the podcast going, equipment wise, or did you go out and like, buy this, buy that, buy the next thing? Well, how did you approach it?
Yeah. As you can tell, I'm such an outsourcer that I was like, nope, I'm not gonna go buy anything. I'm not gonna go do anything. It's like, where's the studio? Can I come in and record? Can I get my guest in? And that was it. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, yeah. So are we going to studio and then we record with a few people. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm an outsourcer. Time is the most valuable resource, so you gotta use that wisely, in my opinion. And I was already very busy with work, so it's not like I had time. If I had time, I'd have definitely gone down the cheaper path, which
Mhm.
is get everything, set it up, and do it. Uh, so outsourcing king here. So
You are the outsourcing king. I mean, seriously, every question is like, well, I outsource that. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
That's great. Hey,
Yeah,
whatever
because
works
my,
for
my
you.
my value is the knowledge that I give clients and the direction and all that. So I'm best to be speaking to clients in front of them. So everything else, if we can outsource it, we will.
Nice. Nice. Well, it sounds like you enjoy the podcast, so we can be expecting a lot more. Sounds like something you're going to stick with after a year.
Yeah, for sure. So I was reading a stat as well, which was interesting that look, 80% of new podcasts stop after the first year. I don't know if anyone has dropped such a stat or I
Could
don't know
be.
if where I got this information. Yeah. So and it just made sense, right? Because if you don't stick with it, well, you're probably not going to be a successful one. While some podcasters start and they hit a bang, others it just takes time and there are lots of things that we started with I only learned after we got into it and I wouldn't have learned before. Um, so we will stick with it. It's definitely been a good value. I said the few things that we're going to tweak next year is niching down, ensuring we make it as because at end of the day, it's a show. It's a show, okay,
Right?
and you need to make the show a good show so people watch and then get the information you're trying to get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because if it's not a good show, people will not watch it.
Very, very true.
Mm.
Very true. Doesn't matter if they
Yeah.
like you either. If it's not a good show, they're not going to
Correct.
watch it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the your customers' attention is some of the biggest currency out there right now. So I
Mm.
totally understand. All right. As we kind of wrap this up, I appreciate you fielding all my goofy questions and stuff that as we came down the
Uh,
pipe there. Um,
no worries.
what is you've been doing it for a minute and you've encountered some things, you've outsourced a whole bunch, you've learned a lot, you've really integrated it into your entire business in a an incredible fashion. The um, as we kind of wrap things up, what's your best advice for podcasters who are not quite where you are yet?
Yeah. So honestly, the two things I'll say is get get your niche, know your viewers, okay? Because those are the key things that matters because those your consistent viewers will spread the word as well if you're not doing any marketing, okay? And I'll say go past the first year just from the start that I had read because I was actually like 80%. I was like, whoa, that's a lot. And I guess it makes sense because even when you see all these shows on Netflix where there's just one season, it's like, well, don't be
Yeah,
don't be a one season podcaster,
right.
push through because you will learn a lot and then you'd make it better. And it's probably what we're doing because if I think about the time and resources the benefit we've gotten hasn't been that much, but it's because we're new, we're toddlers, we're babies in this. This is not like my financial advising skills or business that I've been doing for skill that I've had for 10 plus years.
Yeah,
We're a baby with podcasting, and it's definitely the way forward for um, you know, lots of things.
wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful. Victor, it's been great having you on. I love your attitude, man. I mean, you've been smiling through this whole thing. Your cheeks have to hurt.
They do. They do hurt a bit.
I mean,
I get
really.
that problem every day. So
That's man, that's great to have a life like that. Congratulations on your business, on your book, on your podcast, making it a year, and plowing through and continuing on. All my best to you on everything, and thank you for coming on the show, sharing everything you did, and convincing everybody that they need to outsource a whole bunch of stuff.
yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot for having me on show, Rory. It's been a pleasure.
All right, thank you so much. Folks, this has been another awesome episode of The Podcaster Nation. The reason why we have these fantastic podcasters with all this great advice come on here is because this is the podcast. It's about podcasters, it's for podcasters, and it's done by podcasters. Folks, this is the place where the rising tide truly raises all ships. So keep sailing.